All right, Mayo and Chicken, episode like 18.
I don't even know what episode we're on.
Welcome our guest, the king, the one and only king of Rexdale. Bam, bam, bam.
Yo, respect for the hype. Yo, my bad I was late. It was like bare traffic reaching here,
It's okay.
I didn't want to say it. I assumed you would be late because of this color of your skin, but
Don't tease me, man.
Classic. This is what it is, though, right?
It was serious traffic. Allow me.
what were you saying though? You're not supposed to be out, fam.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, like it was traffic like on Instagram to get to Zoom, like them ones.
Yo, this guy's like, I was with honor roll, fam. The social media got me trapped.
Yo, trust, fam. Like bare hot shorties on the line, on the gram. I had to check that out first, My bad.
I feel you.
For the listeners, to give you guys some, because like I'm sure we got some random listeners who aren't even from Toronto. For the audio people, the King of Rexdale is a
fans outside of Toronto.
there's some weirdos that probably listen to us, fam. But there's a King of Rexdale is a meme page, makes original content, original memes, well known from Toronto, from Rexdale. So that's some context. And what's it like running the meme page? Like, what made you start it? What's it like?
Yo, geez, respect for the big welcoming, But yeah, it's good, Like what made me start it, I won't even lie, like it was just a spam page, Like there was a next person I was dealing with that wanted to cheese, so I made like memes like making fun of him. And then there was this one meme where I made fun of his ex, who was like a Scarborough Kiati, and I made a meme about them going to Luxie's and like getting drunk and needing a ride back home. That one got on 6 bus. I was like, oh snap! Like I didn't. Yeah, I got on 6 bus.
Like, this thing rolling, right?
Yeah, that got everything rolling. I'm like, all of a sudden I have 500 followers on this spam account. I'm like, whoa, But I always kind of wanted to do something for like Rex, because it's not really represented well in the rest of Toronto media. And I'm like, yo, you know what? Like, I already have some ideas. I already did post some Rex memes. Why not actually like somewhat take this seriously and see where it goes, So like, and it was always like a side hobby because I am in school. I do work like a regular part-time job too. So I was like, yo, let's just see where this goes. And then I got bare followers from it. All of a sudden I'm at 10K. I'm like, whoa, And so, yeah, I'd say like it's pretty fun to run. I won't even lie, like I get to interact with like bare people. There's a lot of interesting people you get to meet. There's a lot of people I get to help too. So yeah, and a lot of people are learning about Rexdale through this, So
what do the Rexdale people think? Do Rexdale people know you're the King of Rexdale first of all? Or is that like kind of
like it's half and half, I'd say, like especially at first, because I wasn't doing the whole politics thing that everybody, well, at least a lot of people in Rex do. A lot of people like didn't think I was legit. Like, yo, you're not the King of Rexdale. Probably some youth from Whitby, like, or like, some next nonsense. But eventually, as I started getting like more clout and your favorite rappers started to follow me from Rexdale, then all of a sudden it's like, yo, bro, I've been with you the whole time, man. Bless me a follow back. I'm like, aren't you the same person that said you want to slide on me 2 weeks ago? Like, what's going on,
Yeah,
so
it's so true how quick the second you get put on by some legit people, like even with me, like with comedy, the amount of people are like, what the fuck, you're wasting your time. And then first time I get on 6 Buzz, you should see the amount of people like I went to high school with that I know from childhood that started following me again. Who used to follow me. You're just like, oh wow, like you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit.
Facts, bro. Bro, the switch up is crazy, But like I didn't even tell like my personal friends that I ran this page, except for like 1 or 2 that I was like really, really, really tight with. But I didn't even tell my personal friends. But a lot of people, they started recognizing that it was me just because like I speak the same way on King of Rexdale that I speak in real life.
Yeah, style of humor and shit too, right? It's caught the vibe.
Yeah, exactly. They caught the vibe. They caught like the little phrases and expressions that we said amongst ourselves. Like even the jokes, some of them that I make into memes are jokes I said in real life. People were like, yo, I remember who said this joke in high school, or like in middle.
You're still like, man's jokes from high school, eh?
Like in high school, I was like a jokester still, so like they can recognize that.
Yeah, that's dope. It's good that the community appreciates you and shit. And some niggas are always gonna be on their hater shit, but
So are you at the point? Are you at the point yet where you've found a way to monetize this? And what's the long term plan for this?
Are you thinking about getting some money out of this, or are you kind of like, this is my so I have like my main thing once I'm done school?
See, and I feel you. Okay, so like at first, like I wanted like just to chill on the page, you know, because like I didn't want to do the typical thing where like, yo, most Toronto pages, they'll repost some next rappers, and these rappers are like trash, like booty juice, okay, like absolutely
I feel
garbage.
I love that post you had recent one about that too. I was dying.
Yeah. You seen that post? Yeah, I was dying, bro. And I didn't want to do that, especially if I'm representing the Rex. The last thing I want to do is have some trash rappers over here and be like, okay, people in Rex can't spit, you know? So that's one way of making money. I said, nah, you know what? Like, I can do it out the Maples there. Then, like, there's always these, like, businesses who want to, like, scam and finesse and coal, like, everybody, you know, into, like, some next pyramid scheme, you know, some next type of loom.
Bitcoin or some shit.
Exactly, bro. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want the Maples from that either, you know? So I just wanted to make original content. And plus, like, I had a job too. So, like, in terms of rent and food, like, I wasn't, like, stressing or anything, you know? So, but now that, like, I got bare followers and I got, like, so much people, like, questioning, like, okay, tell us some more about Rex, make some Rex content. I had some ideas as to where I can monetize it. So currently I'm working on a series called M9V Munch. M9V is the beginning postal code of like most places in Rex. And obviously Munch just means eat. So it's going to be a Rexdale food web series where we go to like popular spots in the ends from different cultures. Okay. We go, we eat the food, and then we get guest stars from like popular rappers or artists from Rexdale who are from that culture, and we invite them into the restaurants, and then we do shows with them. So hopefully, if that gets on YouTube, that can get some monetization. Sometimes we'll have sponsorships. So like that's the way I'm looking to make some Maples, something that's authentic, you know, and not really like a finesse. I don't want to like rob my followers, you know. So that's what I'm looking for in the future.
What's the demographic of Rexdale? Would you say? Like how
niggas?
Rexdale is not diverse, you know. Like
niggas there.
I could break it down into percentages, but I don't think that'll do it justice because there are so many like.
No, I mean, like, what's it like from like your just cultural aspect? Like, there's
a lot of people there.
What's the demographic like in general?
Yeah, I'd say maybe like 40% black, 40% like brown, so like South Asian, Indian, and Pakistani, and then like 10% Middle Eastern, and 5% Hispanic, and then 5% like white. But even the type of white people there are kind of different. So it's not like it's not like the white people descended from like Samuel de Champlain who came here in the 1600s. Like we're talking about like white Italians, or like on Bergamot Avenue we call it Croatian Nation because like so much Croatians over there. But yeah, exactly. So like it's really, 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 even the white people are really, really diverse and mixed over there. So that's how I'll kind of break it down. But even if I wanted to go further into the different subgroups, you know, there's Jamaican blacks, there's West African blacks like me, there's Somali blacks, you know, and then even if I break it down to the Middle Eastern groups, like there's Assyrians, which is like an ethnic group that people who are not from Rexdale mostly don't even know, you know. So there's a lot of specific unique things to the demographics in our ends. So yeah, like growing up here was pretty fun. Like you learn about a lot of cultures, you know. The food is blessed too because it comes from all over the world.
Where's the best place to eat? Where's the number one place you'd recommend when I'm in Rexdale?
He's gonna give you a West African joint. That's where he's from. He's gonna tell you like, yo, come eat from the motherland, right?
Yo, I would say that, but I don't want to be biased. So what I would say is there is one spot where no matter where you're from, no matter what your type of appetite is, you'll like, and that's Steak Queen. That's like the most notorious place here because that's where Rob Ford got drunk and started like speaking and swearing in Patron. You know?
It's that spot. Okay.
Yeah, it was that spot. So like it's the most notorious place, and the food is blessed too, you know. So like that's what I can recommend to anybody at any time. But I'd say there's a whole bunch of restaurants I can recommend too, and that I'll introduce in the show. But yeah, like just for anybody out there who's watching and you're like, okay, what's the Rexdale food like? Try Steak Queen. Like you won't be disappointed.
What's that, Asian spot?
Steak Queen? No. It's like I'd say general Canadian food. Like there's burgers, there's steaks, but then you get a bit of Jamaican food too. So you can get like jerk chicken and rice and peas.
That's so random. That's so random. It sounds jumpy.
It's the most random mix, but it just works. It works so well.
Rice and peas and then like a burger or something.
Yeah, no, like man's will be getting like steak and mashed potatoes with a side of oxtail. I'm like, that's just Rexdale.
That sounds fire.
It low-key does, you know.
I want to try it out. You got.
Yeah, fam.
What have you been in Rexdale all your life? Born and raised?
All my life, bro. Born and raised.
I said that'd only be fair to be the king, and if you're not, like if you were. if you weren't there all your life, it wouldn't feel right. So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like if I moved to Brampton when I was like 2 years old and I still claim Rexdale, like nah, that doesn't work. Like a lot of people do. So.
But it's different for GTA mans claiming Toronto.
Yeah.
We only do it when we're traveling international.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't get
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Like
You're
I
like
don't mind
Toronto. That's it.
exactly because like even if you're from like Vancouver, like a lot of people don't even know that city. So
Yeah.
imagine if you're like somewhere like Orangeville, like nobody knows that. So I don't mind if you say I live in Toronto or around Toronto when it's international. But on your Instagram bio, if you have like Toronto is my home or something like that, nah, I'm calling you out.
Bare shorties out here do that. Bare East End shorties.
Trust me, fam.
The liars. You're from Pickering. Blacks.
No.
We know.
What they do is Toronto/Miami. Meanwhile, they do
Yes.
Right? Or like, what? Something else I noticed is that like a lot of shorties, they'll be like from one place, right? Like, so I don't know, like Somalia or Ghana or Nigeria, and then they'll have like all the flags in the world atlas in their bio. I'm like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like your dudes are from one place. You stop this.
Yeah, I'm every mix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if they're legitimately mixed, that's one thing. But a lot of people like you're 100% something, and you're trying to get the whole world map on there. I'm like, chill.
Yeah.
What's your background?
So I'm from Ghana. Both my parents are from there. My mom's from the north side. My dad's from the south. But I mean, most people don't really know the difference. So that's it. I'm from Ghana.
Oh.
But I'm born here, raised here.
Yeah. Okay. So you're like first generation Canadian.
Yeah. First generation.
Only child or you got siblings?
Sorry?
Only child or you have siblings?
Nah, I got an older sister still.
Okay.
Oh, the young one, eh?
So you're young bucks. You're
It's funny, I'm the young one, but my dukes were like extra strict on me just because my sister was a catty. I'll be honest. Like, so like she got in bare trouble. And so because of that, like my dukes were like extra strict on me growing up, So I mean it might be good because I stayed out of trouble. So, like that's a positive. But yeah, they were like super strict. So
you still live with your parents right now, I'm assuming then? Yeah.
Nah, I moved out, bro. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it.
You need to start bringing the shorties back.
Bro, like I go to school at Ryerson, so I had no excuse to move out. I still didn't care. I'm like, nah, I'm gone. Like I just can't.
What do you pay? Like what's rent like in Rexdale right now where you're at?
Well, actually, like the place I'm renting for school is DT, but I still live with like my parents in the summer. So like the place right now is
downtown man's claiming Rexdale, you're saying?
Oh yeah, but I mean like most people know that I kind of did Q&A and then I posted that on the highlights. So I mean most people know that during school times I'm mostly downtown, but I touch Rexdale like almost every week, twice a week sometimes. But yeah, like rent's actually not bad. I got a spot with like my own bathroom and bedroom for $750, so not too bad.
That's not bad at all.
That is really good.
Alive for downtown, bro. Like that's not bad at all. Still, I'm like I don't know how I call this place.
How are you holding up in quarantine alone in your shoebox?
Yo, it's actually jokes because I'm actually enjoying myself. Like I finally have time to be productive and to do things like that I didn't have time really to do before. Like now I'm really, really grinding on like working on developing the M9B Munch show. I got other shows I want to develop for later on, more content, more collabs I want to do. So I'm really like working, spending time developing that, as well as like just like developing myself personally. Like I'm practicing my Spanish. I'm like even a bit of Japanese. So like stuff like that. So it's actually not even bad. Like I see everybody tripping. Like I get if you're a small business owner, like that's your hustle. I totally understand where you're coming from. But like to see like these spoiled 19-year-old girls in like Vaughan mansions complaining about not going outside, I'm like, just shut up. Shut up. Like,
I feel you.
But to be fair, in general, like, mans want to go outside.
Yeah, go outside.
Yeah, I feel that, but it's like, if there's a pandemic, like, you should be able to understand. Like, our Grand Dukes, like, went through, like, bomb alerts and stuff like that.
No, it's different for your situation. You're living in people stacked on top of each other. That's a way more high likely to transact situation than we live in the suburbs. Everyone drives themselves anywhere. We're not sharing elevators with hundreds of other people. So I'm assuming you're in a condo building or some sort of apartment building. So
yeah, it's like a house apartment type of thing. But yeah, like I see what you mean. But again, like just like in terms of just following the rules, if you're in a good position, like you're 19 years old, you're like my age, you know, like I'm 21 actually, but like if you're like in that generation, you know, I don't see why you should be complaining. It's not like you have a business to attend to, or you have work to do, or you have kids to support. Like you just need to chill. That's literally all you have to do. The government
for sure.
paying you 2K, just chill. That's literally all you have to do.
100%. Well, I think everybody should be coming out of this with something productive, whether it's a skill set. Like if you're not using this time to reflect on yourself and to be like, how am I going to come out of this? Like come out with a skill, something you've been working on. Like you said, you've been attempting to do things, and it's the people that aren't doing anything, that are just binging something, is that they're missing the opportunity here. Like we're getting life giving us a time to just focus on us for a bit. Take advantage.
Exactly. And even if it's not like, it's not like, oh, I'm learning coding. Even if you're just taking the time to relax and like get the mental rest you need, that's good. Because what I don't want to see is when this quarantine ends, people on Twitter complaining about, oh, my life is so stressful, I just need time to myself. I'm like, you had 2 months to yourself and you did nothing. That would be my problem, you know?
No, it's even worse. People who still haven't...
Big facts. I'll lose it if I see that. I'm like, wait a minute.
Trust me, yo, I will delete the brand on Twitter.
If people still have a dirty bedroom at the end of this fucking quarantine, they're a lost cause.
I think the first thing I'm doing. Is wrong.
Big facts. That's big facts. Like right now is the time to do like everything that you didn't have time to do that's within your power, you know? Like, yeah, I feel you can't go to Wonderland, you can't go clubbing, but I'm like, we always have to look at what situations we can control and make the most of those. That's like my life philosophy, you know, like clean your own room first, you know, like look at the life situations that are available for you to control and do them first, then worry about the rest. So like, that's what I'm telling everybody, you know, like use this time productively, because I don't think there'll ever be a time like this where you're at home, you're getting paid to stay at home, and you have time to like really hone in on yourself. So use this while it lasts, I guess.
Are you religious?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah? What are you, Christian?
Yeah, Christian still.
That's,
I don't know if you guys can see it cross-chain, but yeah.
No,
I mean,
good.
everybody wears a cross-chain, so you gotta ask, you know what I mean?
It's
kind of
True say, you know, like...
it's become generic, even though... Like,
yeah, it's a fashion trend, you know?
Yeah. It is.
Like girls will take it off before they give a man wazels. I'm like, okay, you know?
Keep it on. My chain's on. Keep your chain on too.
I'm about to keep it on.
Do you believe in aliens? I asked.
Well, you have to believe in aliens. Bullshit.
Here's the thing, like, it's more like I don't care, you know, because like, if there is, it's like, okay, so what? That's like just another aspect of, you know, like the universe that God brought into existence. If there's not, I don't care. So it's more like I don't really...
Makes it really questionable about the God theory. If there are aliens, that doesn't like maybe dissolve a little bit of like, you know, the ideal of God, or maybe these aliens could know
not really
God.
Like personally, not really to me, because like there's nowhere that it says that God didn't create aliens or humans are the only intelligent race. So at least for me, like it doesn't really like shake my faith like that. It's like it's just another thing, you know. I mean, like there's species that we as humans probably never saw because like they got extinct before us. So I think of them as the same way, or maybe like there's species that will come in the future through like evolution. Like, you know, like if you put like a subset of lizards on an island for like 20 years, they'll evolve into a whole nother species. So maybe there's some species in the future that we'll see that didn't exist now. It's the same thing for me with aliens. Like it doesn't really matter too much because there's nothing saying that that's not possible.
Well,
so,
I've had something that's been fucking with my head too much lately. I've been listening to like Elon Musk thinks, and a lot of mathematicians think it's more statistically probable that we're living in a simulation than not.
Well, I think like the basic expression "I think therefore I am" kind of like assures me that like probably not, you know. But
you hope not. We really hope.
Yeah, we hope not. But I feel like the prevalence of free will is too strong, you know, for us to be in a simulation. Because I'd never heard of a simulation where humans can like achieve so much and do what they will, you know. So I think it's highly improbable. But anything's on the table, I guess.
It's possible. So a lot of people do feel like they're NPCs. Like I know what you're saying, where it's like,
what's NPC mean?
Like they're not a part of, like they're just like a background character in the game. They're not really a part of the game. The whole thing, right? So it's like, for me, it's like I understand what you mean by like, you know, I think therefore I am, because it's like, yeah, I feel like I'm one of those people that's like I'm aware of myself. But sometimes I'm looking around at other people, and I'm like, they're not aware of themselves. I don't think they're that deep into like their own existence or understanding like maybe they have a place in this world or like thinking deeper than just my 9 to 5 and I'm taking care of my kids. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
why some other people might just be NPCs, and then you might be the only one that's woke in what's relative to you.
What the fuck
Yeah.
does the team acronym mean now?
I can't remember.
NPC. I think it's from a video game like term. I don't know like the specific acronym because I'm not a gamer, but I get what it means. It means like you're just a background player, like
Yeah, your background.
non-player computer. I have no idea. Something like that.
In GTA, like running over a pedestrian in GTA, those are NPCs. Like, you know what I mean? But like you are the gamer, and then the persons that you're going on missions with, like, yeah,
that's so.
Yeah. But I feel like, what is it? Those people are kind of like NPCs by choice because, like, yeah, just because like you have work a regular job, you have kids, you do the 9 to 5, it doesn't mean that your life doesn't have fulfillment. You know, you don't need to find fulfillment in your work. You can find fulfillment in what you aspire to be and what you believe and what you practice. You know, your family, raising kids. You know, like you can do weekend sports. You can do art on the weekend. Like you don't need to. I think this is a problem with our generation. Like a lot of us, if we don't get the perfect dream job, we feel like unfulfilled and crushed and robotic. I'm like, you don't need to find your life's goal, you know, in your work. You can find meaning in a lot of different things.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's just
perspective.
Like, well, even still, like you can be happy working a job for $50,000, $40,000 a year, even. But if you love that job and absolutely that's your passion, like
it doesn't matter.
It's better than working in a
$150,000
a year job for something that fucking drains your soul.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like it's a thing where it's like it shouldn't really matter how much you make as long as you can support yourself, of course. But it more matters. I'm like, okay, does this lead to your fulfillment the most? You know, and even if it's not a perfect job, you can still find other things to help fill that shell. You know. Just as long as like it's not something that's mentally destroying you, it's mentally crushing you. If it is, then yeah, maybe that's not for you.
Exactly.
What's your big goal? Like what's the end game for you?
So, I won't even lie. Like, I kind of just wanted more of a regular life before I started this KOR thing. Like, I'm in school, I rise in for urban planning. So I was always interested in like city development and stuff like that. So the goal was to finish with that. And typically after 4th year, there is a placement at a company, so you can work for urban development field. Sometimes you can branch out and do urban transportation, work with TTC, you know. So that was kind of the goal, and then maybe like run for city councilor one day. Like, yeah, you know, like so I'm low-key the mayor of Rexdale, you feel me? But no. But
what ward is that?
Ward 1 actually, because we're at the top northwest. Exactly, fam. We're number 1, you know. So I wanted to be councilor number 1, but.
Yo, does the Don River run through Rexdale at all?
No. It's the Humber River instead.
Oh, it's Humber River there?
Yeah, Humber River is actually the east side border, you know? So the east border is Humber River. The west border is 427. The north border is Steeles. And then the south border is 401.
Okay, so you're right on the side corner of Toronto pretty much.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, exact northwest corner, basically.
Yeah, so the end goal for you is urban planning, or is like.
Well, that was it. Now I'm not like 100% sure. I mean, I definitely do want to graduate, you know, because like it's always good to have that in your back pocket. You know, you never know what might happen, and also because I genuinely like the program and I like to learn, you know. So I definitely do want to graduate. That's number 1. Maybe work at a development firm for urban planning for a couple of years, but I think now I'm becoming more of a creative person, you know, like there's a lot of stories from Rexdale that, again, don't really get to be told, you know, like on all these Toronto media pages or even in like the mainstream.
Give an example of like one of these stories that someone from like, we're from Ajax that we would not get to know about Rexdale. Like, give us an example.
Yeah. Like, I think a lot of people don't know that like Wayne Gretzky actually lived over here for a period in his life.
Really?
Yeah, he moved to Rexdale because he wanted to improve his hockey, and there's more facilities in Toronto. Of course, there's actually a lot of rinks in Rexdale too, and so he actually came to West Humber in grade 9. Like you can look at the yearbook pictures, and you have his picture over there. You know, aside from him, there's a lot of different like artists and like activists and like just dope people like Kanon, Jellystone, and the first Canadian hip hop duo that made it on BET was from Rexdale. It was called Ghetto Concept with Quadro Cinco, Infinite, and Dolo. You know, so there's a lot of like rags to riches stories or like interesting characters that were here. And there's a lot of interesting things that occur over here. And I think there's a lot of content to be produced from that, you know. But again, we don't really have that opportunity, you know. And so I feel like instead of just complaining about it, I can put it into existence, you know.
No, for sure. But who would right now would you say is like the next biggest like good story that you predict? Like some guys that are gonna come out of Rexdale, like the next ones. Who would you have?
That's a good question. Right now I'd say maybe Mula first. He's a rapper from Rex, and I'm telling you, like when I listened to his project Revenge this month, I was like, this is the next big fit, you know. Like it was one of the, you know, like one of those projects where it's like it doesn't sound like everything else that you're hearing. Yeah. It was one of those, you know. And I think like, yeah, people like him, even when I was listening to him being interviewed by We Love Hip Hop Network podcast Toronto, he was saying that he wants to do the same thing. He wants to bring attention to the neighborhood. He wants to like do movies, do acting. He wants to like show these kids that there's more than just one way of getting successful in Rexdale than other than doing illegal activities, you know? So when I saw that by him, I was inspired. I'm like, yo, he can actually be that next person that there's a huge story about, you know? So that's one example.
Well, the thing with that Rexdale people and anyone that lives in that area or even in the GTA, I would love for them to recognize is that the amount of opportunity you have being in that Toronto, being near Toronto, and the amount of opportunities that Toronto as a city has for you. Like, and people say like, so when people live in like big cities and they say there's no opportunity, like you're not looking for opportunity because if you're living buttfuck nowhere, like I'd rather be in Rexdale or like in anywhere closer to the city than a nice town in fucking Saskatchewan. Because like
even though if you look at like his content for say, like if you probably live in Toronto, you have a bigger following just based on being in the city. Like,
I don't even think I would.
I think you would.
I don't think it would make a difference. I'm close enough. I don't think
that your following is bad. I'm saying that if you were in the city, you have a bigger following because the city, like, even though like you're from the Rex, like you might hear about something that's going on in like other ends that's near you, and there's so many people in your ends and other ends anyway. So it's like you hear about different people, like so many different entertainers that are all from Toronto. And they all get followers.
Wait, guys, give me 1 quick second. My battery's actually about to die. Let me just plug my phone. My bad.
Jeez, nice roof.
Respect.
Crazy. Rexdale is it seems like an interesting place. I was actually I've been there. I guess didn't even realize because I fish the Humber sometimes and I park my car there. So I wouldn't.
Yeah. Like if you've ever been like around the Humber River, like you probably were around Rexdale. Yeah, because like it runs right through. It's literally the border. So.
Yeah. I meant to ask, would you fuck an alien if they're real? That's my other question. I have to ask.
No.
A good Christian man, fam. You ask me.
Yo, that's bestiality when you think about it.
Bestiality. No.
That's high-key bestiality. That's dirty, bro.
Yeah. They're not human, fam.
It's intergalactic bestiality, is what it is.
Either way, bro, I'm like, nah, that's not me, man.
What if the aliens that come over aren't even like the human version of them on their planet? What if they just send their dogs over? Or like, you know what I mean? Like a lower life form because they're just like, yeah, you guys want to go.
Are you about that, Kevin?
I'd fucking alien.
This guy definitely fucking alien. I like women. I don't want to change. I like keeping women as they are when they're born women. Period.
Well, yo, same. I'm on that.
I specify these days because
exactly, bro. Like if you don't say born, then you can get anything. I'm like, nah, you know, I'm good.
Yeah. If an alien was bad as fuck, I don't give a shit.
No, I don't care, bro. I don't. Like you can be my
actually like us. If they look exactly like us, then I'm like, well, you're human, so.
Well, even if they like they look exactly like us, it also matters on like character. Like, do they get human emotions and stuff like that? You know, because like
that's crazy.
I don't want to emote. Sorry.
So they can't even emote and shit. Just a bunch of future ass niggas. That's crazy.
Yeah, like yo, like what if like you're hella robotic and then you're in bed with them and you're just like lying like down like this the whole time. You'll feel like like smashing a doll. You know, so
sure. I feel you.
I think I want to do it for number one for the culture. Number two, I get them pregnant.
This guy said for the culture, man.
Yo, white people need culture, bro. It's the first thing they have. Like, where the fuck?
I'm crying.
No one else was on that before us.
Man, y'all that one. You're like that's that guy that fucked the alien. Like that's him.
See, I'm looking at that steak queen food, bro. Oh, that shit's looking good, bro.
It looks blessed.
It looks blessed, fam.
I'm saying, fam. Like it's
actually
sick.
Until they had the Greek joints. the Slovakian shit, the Greek salad. Bro, this is a spot. This is a real
Trust
spot.
me.
Right?
Yeah, like it's like it's a sick hybrid of like all these like foods, you know, and like it's a super chill spot too because it used to be open hella late. Like now they close it a bit earlier because there was a next fire that happened and they had to close down and they reopened. But before then, like
historic site, bro.
2 a.m.
That video there, that's actually a historic site to me.
Yo, like we need to make it a UNESCO heritage site, you know?
I'm there tomorrow, bro. Is it open? Do I have to like order Uber it? Or is it open?
I don't even know. That's the thing. Like, cause like I don't know their social media, you know. So I haven't touched there in a minute. I won't even lie. So I don't even know.
There. You know what I mean? It's like when you're from there, it's not always a thing like that. It's kind of
exactly,
like,
you know. Exactly, you know. Like when you're from there, it's like okay, like if like let's say that we had a late event and then we know that one spot that's always open late, then we'll touch there, you know. But like it's not like an everyday thing, you know.
Okay, I feel you.
Yo, when do you think we'll be out of quarantine?
I feel like the Govy is like intentionally doing this like 2 weeks by 2 weeks to stop people from panicking, you know?
Oh, buddy.
Because
a year at least.
Yeah. Maybe not a year, but for sure until the end of 2020, nothing will return to 100% normal. Maybe like maybe they might start opening like schools and stuff, but they won't do like clubs. They won't do like amusement parks. Nothing super big until 2021 at latest. You know,
amusement parks, that makes sense. Places like amusement parks and like sporting events, like I get that. You know,
trust me, I worked at Wonderland. Like there's like 100,000 like idiots inside there that will be sneezing on each other. Like you know, like there's no way you can do that.
I'm just hoping we can at least get to the point where at least they let parks and like campgrounds, like we can go like camping or something.
The parks closing doesn't really make sense to me, but
all I want to do is go camping or go fishing because like mans are blocking off right now. Like some townships are blocking off boat launches and shit, and I'm like, yo, it's safer for me to launch my boat and catch a fish for meat than stand in these Costco lines. Like, what do we think?
More times. Yeah, I feel like places like boats and national parks, like there's only like 5 people in them anyway. So I don't know why they don't just open them.
Well, like, you have like bush party. You might have a bush party of like 10, 15 friends meet up, but like even still, like
still.
Yeah, like I wouldn't mind if they said, yo, if you have if you have a family cottage, you can go with your family, but you can't be inviting like 2 different parties. I can understand that, but like to completely close it off. Meanwhile, Trudeau is going on a cottage trip with his family. That seems kind of hypocritical, you know.
What do you think of Trudeau's blackface?
Like, okay, I wouldn't even lie. I laughed a lot first. But secondly, like, I wasn't super surprised because I seen the older picture of him in the blackface imitating, is it Rudy? It's not Rudy Gay, but I'm forgetting his name. But, like, it's a Jamaican singer, right? And I seen that from his high school imitating that singer, right? So I wasn't surprised. It's more, like, hypocritical to me because, like, this guy is, like, the Pope of social justice, you know? Like, he's the same guy that when he went to Alberta and there was some next woman speaking to him and he's like, and I think this is the best for mankind. He's like, actually we say people can, you know? So I'm like, that's the same guy that's doing blackface. That seems completely hypocritical, you know? So it just showed that like he's all talk, essentially.
He's a politician.
Exactly. You know, and I can't even hate the hustle because like every politician does that. But I'm like, people were thinking he's the next messiah for Canada. I'm like, no, he's just like everybody else. He's just playing the game.
They're all the same.
Exactly. He's just literally playing the game, you know? So like I think it was probably necessary as a wake up call to some people, you know? Because some people were just like putting him at another level, you know? So but yeah, like I obviously I do think it's racist, but like I'm not like I don't think he himself is really a racist person. I think people can do unintentionally things that are racist without being racist themselves. You know, I don't think like he's actually out here trying to like, like do something bad to like people of color. And like, no, I just think he was ignorant, you know?
Well, we were talking the other day about Mark Wahlberg and no one even gives a shit.
Yeah.
For Mark Wahlberg's blackface?
I won't even lie. I haven't even heard of that.
Okay, you ever seen Tropic Thunder?
Oh, it's not Mark Wahlberg. It's
you mean
Robert Downey Jr., not Mark Wahlberg.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder. Nobody cares.
Yes.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was a movie. One, it's a movie, and two, the intent behind it. When you actually watch the whole movie, you realize how funny it is. Like, it's not so like on a black people shit. It's the fact that they're using a white actor to play a black guy in a movie. It's so outrageous. It's such a like, you know how white Hollywood is. Like, they'll cast anybody in a role that doesn't really belong to their race. Kind of. It was a play on that joke, which is fucking hilarious. Like,
yeah. Like, it's actually a social critique of like the established like discrimination that black people face in Hollywood. So it's kind of like blackface, but with a purpose, you know. So in that situation, it becomes a bit more great.
Like Southern and like, you know what I mean?
Technically, you could argue that role and was so good it ended blackface.
I mean, blackface was ended.
No, but
I don't know about that. It was good though, but I don't know about
Hollywood.
that.
I mean, like in Hollywood, because like since that role, no art like. There's been that kind of
celebrities that come out for Halloween wearing some fucking blackface, and everyone's like, "Bro, we can't do this."
Oh, but I think I see what you're saying, Kevin. Like that ended like the Hollywood practice of
like the
there's individual artists who do it because of their own ignorance or racism or whatever it is. But like Hollywood as an establishment stopped doing blackface in films. I see what you're saying. That actually makes sense.
That was like they made fun of it to the point where everyone's like, maybe.
I mean, they haven't really done it in a long time anyway. It's been a while since they've done it, but. It was funny.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but I think Hollywood is learning, you know. But like my problem, like even is not when someone does it like 20 years ago and like they apologize for it. Like that's not my problem. And I think like all these like woke people are harking on the wrong tree. My problem is like the people who are trying to continue to justify its use today. That's more of my problem, you know. Yeah. It's like if someone did something a long time ago, like we're all humans, we all grow, you know. So you gotta understand that. My problem is only if people are trying to like not acknowledge it or trying to justify it in the present tense, you know, and they don't have good reasons to back that. Then that's where like it gets annoying to me.
Yeah, it's a little sticky. I can see that.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess we'll wrap this bitch up. I don't even know how long it is.
I have no idea.
I'm bet it's too stoned. Do you smoke? You don't smoke, do you?
Nah, bro, nah.
You're clean, yeah. So sorry for ruining your image when you run for Ward 1. We smoked on here. That was our personal choice. It's not an indictment on...
weed's legal now, right? So
yeah, it's legal. Yo, number one, it's legal. And number two, like, it's soft. Like, I have, like, mans who hop on my Instagram live. And, like, they're, like, what is it? They're drinking. They're, like, they have, like, what is it? Like, weed on them. And sometimes they're even under 18, you know? So it's, like, as long as it's not me, like I'm cool. You know, I don't judge.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for coming on, man. And any last things you want anyone to check out at King of Rexdale? Any projects coming up?
Respect. I got M9B Munch coming soon. You guys can check out the snippet. I posted it on Friday. So, well, today's like April 28th. So last Friday I posted the snippet. Check that out. It's a fun series. It's going to explore all the different ends and foods and cultures and artists in Rexdale. So yeah, if you're interested in the ends, you know, and like you want to learn more about the community, yeah, definitely hit it up. Other than that, you know, like follow up the King of Rexdale Instagram page. And yeah, that's it. Yo, respect to you guys.
I'm going to let you know when I'm in Rexdale fishing next, and we're going to link up for some food once this shit's done.
We got to go to Steak Queen, all of us, you know?
Oh, for sure. I'm going to be out fishing that way, for sure.
Trust me, man.
Respect.
I don't know, eh?
Yeah.